Welcome to the Kailah Show, where we weave together magic and strategy in business to consciously and collectively quantum leap to our next level. Here, we're not just entrepreneurs, we're high frequency creators who casually break the rules when it comes to the standard business strategy. We're alchemists of our vision, weaving together the threads of our limitless potential. I'm your guide, Kailah, and together we will awaken the divinity within your business, igniting the flames of your soulful expansion. It's time to lead with your magic, scale with your intuition, and market and sell from the heartbeat of your vision to create an aligned business that sets your soul on fire. Hello and welcome back to the Kailah Show. I am so beyond excited for this episode because I have the founder of the heart-centered global bridal hairstylist community, Beyond The Ponytail. Angela is here with me today. Angela did the impossible. She created a community for hairstylists where we're not only recognized for our hairstyling expertise, but she created a community for us to support and celebrate each other too. In 2023, she held her first ever Believe It hair show in Atlanta for our global bridal hairstylist community. And I was so incredibly honored that I was able to fly 34 hours across the globe to witness and experience Angela's first ever hair show. Watching her bring that to life was the most inspiring experience in my career to date. Getting to meet every single woman who was there at the hair show, who I already have these incredible deep relationships with, just through social media. The power of being social on social media. It was the most extraordinary experience of my career. Angela mentors women in our industry to grow their brands, to get on stages, to break through impostor syndrome. And in addition to all of her powerhouse visions, she is one of the most heart-centered leaders in our industry, with an even bigger vision for Beyond the Ponytail, for our entire industry in the years to come. I am so excited that you are here with us, beautiful Angela. I know that we are going to dive straight into it. There is so much to cover, and I am absolutely certain that this will become 2 parts. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump straight into part 1 of my conversation with the incredible Angela.
Thank you. Yeah, I know, always. I'm so excited always to talk about you. I know I always love talking about, Beyond the Ponytail and our community and how amazing it is, and our hair show and all the things that we've done, in between the last time I talked to you with relaunching the hair show and taking it off of Instagram. I mean, we have just been like buzzing around here and making things better and moving forward. And it's just like, it's that mentality that I told you last week. It's like, you're always going to hit challenges and you're always going to hit hiccups, and you take a pause and just go, okay, find a solution. And, luckily you have really good people around you that have the answers, because I am not a web designer. I am not good at that. But I have somebody that's been on my team for 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
and she knows me and what I like and, how picky I am. And she killed it. She said, I'm on it. And she had it done over the weekend. So,
That's amazing.
so I just sit back and I think, my team is small, but the people that I do have are so incredible. And so it makes me very happy when we face challenges that sometimes are crazy, and we stay calm and put our heads together and just like zone in on creating the solution and going for it. And it's
Mm.
that kind of like, we got it. And I just messaged her today. And I was like, the new transition to how we conduct our competition online on our website now has been, received. It has been a huge success. And it's good. So we got it. We launched it Monday. Yes,
Mhm.
Monday. Today is Wednesday. And so far, so good.
Love it. But you had the challenges from your Instagram, like the algorithm or Instagram deciding
Yes.
who you actually see, and then you've had to like re-strategize and go a different direction, which is
Like as quickly as possible.
yeah, and it's
Yes.
incredible. Like, you know, let's just start the podcast from here because this is a great conversation to have.
I know.
But like, it's a really incredible example of how you need to innovate when you're hit with challenges and hurdles, which happens all the time in business, no matter what stage of business you're
Yeah.
at. And then you're like
100%.
having to come together and then redirect and innovate and show up and do it. And I always find in those moments where you are hit with a hurdle, it's actually a redirection into a better direction. It always ends
100%.
up better. And so,
And
yeah.
yes, I will confirm that like 100%.
Mm,
Um, there has been quite a few times in the history of Beyond the Ponytail and our websites and our directory, and even like our directory, we launched it in 2021, and we got that account through the plugin that we use got hacked and taken for ransom. And they messaged, I had somebody joining the directory and they're like, I'm getting this weird message, like with a skull and crossbones. And I'm like,
you're like,
really?
that's not a vibe.
That's not our aesthetic. Um, And so I like woke up, like literally woke up to a message, and then going to my website, and all of our websites, beyondtheponytail.com and society.beyondtheponytail.com, which is our directory for wedding hairstylists, were completely taken for ransom, like ransomware. And so of course we discovered where our vulnerability was, and we knew that we would have to redo the website. So good news is my web designer, we have a great IT team now, because it's like now I need to hire an IT team that takes us to another level of security. We have to redesign the directory
Mm,
and re-enlist everybody in the directory. And now we're at a level of security cyberly that is much more comfortable. So we discovered where we needed to shift,
yeah.
and luckily we have an amazing team that was able to hack back into the hackers and regain our website back.
Yeah.
And then we relaunched our directory in a new design, which is so much more beautiful. And now we have, I have somebody monitoring all of our accounts 24/7. And so, those are the things where it's like, oh my gosh, like hit in the face.
Mhm.
But you say, okay, obviously this happened for a reason, and we're going to come together, discover a solution, and we're going to come back as quickly as possible and better and stronger. And
Absolutely.
so that's happened a few times.
It
Beyond the Ponytail has been around for a little over 8 years.
Mhm.
We launched it, or I launched Beyond the Ponytail feature page in 2015. And that's when I started, discovered that I wanted to create a feature page to give recognition to hairstylists around the world with that do styling, that do updos and braids. And just because I knew giving recognition would give them that sense of pride and encouragement and confidence and everything that I experienced when my work was featured on other industry
Mhm.
platforms.
And
I
it's
thought
like
it was
that
cool, and it was,
recognition, like
yes,
that feeling of being seen is so incredible for like it's not
yeah,
that need for validation, but it's like somebody seeing you in your expertise and seeing your talent and valuing you, which,
it's
as a hairstylist,
powerful.
you do that for every single one of your clients. And so when somebody's doing that for you, I've got body tingles everywhere. So it's like that
Yeah.
feeling of like somebody
I know.
seeing you
Oh
and
my
your
God, I just
magic.
got them too. I'm like, you're just like sharing them to me. It's emotional.
Yeah.
It's an emotional experience. And like I said, I felt
Mhm.
that and I sat there and it took me, a little bit of time, maybe like a month or so when I was just really kind of taking this all in because I felt a shift. I
Mhm.
felt like I had discovered a pathway that I was meant to go down. And then I had to discover that new like
What that looks like.
opportunity or like so I feel that I'm very spiritual and I'm very connected to my inner voice because over time I've learned that when you are alone on a bike ride, on a walk, in the shower, wherever you find yourself and you have this inner voice that talks to you, you have two choices. And this gives me chills.
I
You can
know.
either
I'm
pay
like,
attention.
is it hot or is it
I
just
know.
me?
Yeah. You have two choices.
Yeah.
You can pay attention because it's there for a reason. Because I always say you're great. And this is like it gets me like emotional. And this is
Emotional.
like
I
when
feel
I'm on stage or at the show, I'm always like, oh my God, you guys, I love you guys so much. And it's so powerful. But I feel like you have your greatness already inside of you, and that inner voice gives you opportunities to
Mhm.
listen to the greatness that's already inside of you. And when you are aware of that type of power that you have from within and you pay attention to it, then magic starts to happen. But um, it takes time and it takes focus and it takes kind talking to yourself and it takes belief in yourself and it really takes a moment where there's a shift where you can go down two paths. You can keep on doing what you're doing, or if you want more and you know that there is more and something tells you,
Mhm.
then you choose to go down that path and discover that pathway. So sometimes it's the right way, sometimes it's the wrong way, but you have to make a decision. And what I did in that moment was I made a hard decision to say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is why I'm doing it. And I know it's going to be a lot of work, and I don't know what that journey is going to look like. But I want to give that feeling to others on a daily basis. I know that that's going to be something that is going to make me feel joyful every day.
Filled.
And so I dove in and I scoured the internet and I pulled up I discovered artists and featured them. And, I do have a very particular aesthetic for the images that I choose. So they do have to kind of take my breath away, but they do. But
Yeah.
to create that level of, I don't, just to kind of create that as, that level of, I don't want to say
Standard?
beauty. Beauty's in the just like an image, like all the images that I choose, if you look at all 6,500 of them that I've chosen, everyone is like, wow,
Mhm.
for different reasons.
Well, it's almost
But
like it speaks to you emotionally through what you're experiencing visually. Do you know what I mean?
it
Like
takes
it's
my
like,
breath away.
yeah, so it's
Yes.
like it's landing in your body, not just from a visual point of view, but from
Yeah.
like the experience of looking visually at the photo. So
Yes.
it's like
So
you,
I
yeah.
thought, yeah, I thought if it kind of like takes my breath away, like,
Mm.
whoop, and I'm pretty particular.
Hmm.
Um, then I know it's going to do that for others. And so I want to share that and give them recognition and give them the opportunity, to have that moment and just to have that moment and to have that emotion. So
I love that.
that was hugely successful. And it grew very quickly because back in 8 years ago, there was no algorithm and things were different on Instagram. Um,
Yeah.
but from there, I really even narrowed down that niche more, because there wasn't a page for just braids and updos. So
Mm.
I know that when you narrow down your niche and then you become the expert within that niche, things grow very quickly. So your path to success, so to speak, is maybe elevated or,
Mhm.
quicker because you've then become the place where everyone goes when they want inspiration for a particular thing,
Yeah.
versus having everything within the hair industry, narrowing it down to my passion, which is braids and updos, and jumping all in. Um, that's where everyone can get to the level of success that they envision. Um, some people might do it quicker than others, but I think if you narrow it down even more and become the master of that is where you might see success quicker.
Hmm.
But there is no quick fix, easy success overnight.
And I
Like
think
it's just
it'll,
a matter of like what people come to you and what you're known for.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it like helps a lot to collapse that time between where you are now and achieving what you want is to have that clear vision. So I think when you're niching down because you know who you are and you know who you serve and you know your expertise, that's what
Yes.
helps, isn't it? It like really
Oh,
helps
a hundred
collapse that time.
percent. A
Um,
hundred percent. And
I
it's
love
not
that.
to say that you have to narrow down and you have to narrow your niche and become, but because I get pushback on that when on my coaching calls where I say, do you want to narrow down your niche and be the expert in cleanup do's or boho?
Mm.
If you say, let's think of people that do in our community that do clean styling, a name will pop to your head like Alice Capitan or
Yeah.
our boho styling, Liz
Mm.
Cooper, the artful hairstylist, or SV Glamour, Sarah
Yeah.
Lopez. So
Yeah.
those are examples of stylists that have really honed in on their niche of the bridal industry, and then you can see that's what they are known for, like
Mhm.
Mustafa for glam waves. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
an easy, scenario to demonstrate.
Mm.
But you don't have to do that.
Mm.
It's just if that speaks to you and that's what brings you joy, then you can see how your audience might grow of where people come to you for a specific
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we've found even in our own brand, because we've got a team and everybody's got their own unique style, we don't necessarily hone in on a particular look within the perf community, but we do hone in on an experience. So everybody has an incredible luxury experience that remains consistent no matter what the bridal inspo pick is, no matter what the bridal like vision is, it's always the same consistency of our luxury client experience. So everybody in our team has their own like elements of, their looks that they go for and what they're naturally talented at and what they're naturally drawn to create. Like even if a client sits in my chair and they show me a particular, inspo pic, I still put my take on it because I have a unique like way
Yeah.
I do things. Do you know what I mean? And I'm never going to change
Love
that. And
it.
so I think that's why my clients
Yeah.
choose me because they can see it in my work when I'm, on Instagram where there's got all my team on there. Everybody still has their own unique look. So it's absolutely true. Like even if you have a team or even if you've got different looks that you prefer, your client will still be able to look at your Instagram and see like what it is that about you that they love,
Yeah.
which
But
is
I also say like you put out the work that you want to attract, or
yeah.
you put out the information that you want to be expert in. I
Mm.
did such a wonderful coaching call today with a stylist from the Netherlands, and she
Oh.
was just fantastic. And we talked about, she was like, I want to move in to do more bridal and I want to build my audience. And I said, okay, well, let's talk about this. Whatever you put on your Instagram, like Instagram is a free business tool.
Hmm.
So you own it. Like how did I say it? You are in control of Instagram. Instagram is not in control of you. So whatever you put out in the information and the value that you give to your audience is what you're going to attract. So
Mm-hmm.
you just have to be clear of why you're using this free business tool that we call Instagram in the bridal industry. And so we really kind of dove into um ways to connect and build your audience and ways to really kind of, if you have a plan of where you want to go, how to use Instagram to put out content that will get you there and connect you to the right people.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah. And it makes a significant difference. Like even my clients, when they're like, oh, I don't, oh, even one of my private clients, bless her heart, she's like, I don't even know how I attracted this bride because none of the work that I do actually speaks to any of the inspo pics that she's actually shown me, which is absolutely accurate. So you still get those random clients that come in. But the best thing was is that she had a really open, honest conversation with the bride, and she's like, this is not my area of expertise. And this is not what I'm like, I wouldn't say this is an element of my brand. Do you want me to give you a referral for somebody
oh,
who would be able
100%.
to? Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? And that
She
brings
probably
me
came, she probably came to her with because of a
a
referral.
referral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And
And that's like that actually brings me to one thing that I would love for you to share. Well, I want to say thank you because when I came to BTP the hair show, like your first ever hair show, and I sat in that audience and there was like was there about 200 women in the room, maybe
it was
more?
about 150.
A
Yeah,
50,
it was
okay,
about
150.
150, but it felt like 2000.
It felt like it because it felt like there was so much love. I've never been in a room with hairdressers or hairstylists that are genuinely loving upon each other and
Yeah.
supportive and celebrating each other. And that is like make me cry, but that's literally what it felt like to be in the room. Is, I
I
think
agree.
about some of the other ladies that are in there, the educators, and even yourself, like the relationships that you build from the other side of the world. And then it's like, it's the breaking through of in Australia, in the hair industry in particular, it's competition. It's like this
Mm.
awful triggering
Mm.
protection. I can't trust you. You won't support me. Like you'll cut me down before you'll ever support me kind of energy. And I'm not saying it's like that for everybody because I'm certainly not like that. And I have a community of incredible women who are definitely not like that. But to come to the hair show and experience a bigger, larger scale of that is the most incredible representation of the community that you've created. So I wanted to thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. I mean, because I feel that that show was going to happen from day one. I knew that that was going to happen. So that was my, day one Beyond the Ponytail. I've been in the hair industry for 23 years. I've worked hair shows. I've worked backstage. I've worked on stage. I love the energy of hair shows. The beauty about our hair show was a community
Mm.
of stylists that are normally independent on their own freelancers building best friendships and relationships and supportive, loving relationships online for years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say
I know it's gonna make
18.
me cry.
I know. And then
Mm.
coming together to literally give each other hugs and share a weekend together of education and meeting peers and meeting educators that they've only seen online. I mean, it was truly, I think that's probably what I'm most proud of at this point in my journey
Yeah.
is the, I I feel like the bridal hair community that we've created is a community of the most kindest, most hardworking men and women, because there are some men
Oh
in
yeah.
there, but mostly women, of stylists around the world that genuinely love and care for the success of others in that
Hmm.
community. And they've shown it time and time again. So this was an opportunity to come together and have that one-on-one one-on-one experience with each other, um and make memories together one-on-one next to each other and really kind of cement that relationship that you've had online for so long. And new relationships were made. Others were finally like, oh my God, I feel like I know you, but I
Yes.
don't know you. Same with you. Same with so many
Yeah.
stylists that I met that it's like I've had relationships with them for years and years and years, and I've seen them from the very beginning of their career.
Mm.
I might have posted the first ever, feature that they've ever had. And then now I see where they are. And so there's just this beautiful energy and true love and respect and support for each other that it is, that's probably what I'm most proud of. Because people say, "Oh my gosh, are you so proud of yourself?" And I answer
Yeah.
well, I am. I'm proud, that the show actually came to life.
Hmm.
I've lived it 1,000 times in my head,
Yeah.
but what I'm most proud of is that our community was able to have a experience of coming together and connecting in person at a hair show and having 10 hours of education dedicated to them.
Mm.
That's what I'm most proud of. So it's almost like me, I have big dreams and I'm very focused and I believe in myself, so I'm unstoppable in my mind. You
You're
know
like,
what I
I'm
mean?
unshakable, unwavering,
I'm
all the things.
unstoppable. Well, I mean, I know
Mm.
that if you believe in your dreams and you
Mm.
believe in your goals, that no, giving yourself grace of not knowing how long it's going to take, but staying
Mm.
focused,
Yeah.
you will get there. I've I've
Yes.
I've felt that and I've witnessed it, and there's things that you learn along the way. Um, but what I'm most proud of is giving that opportunity to so many people that I just absolutely adore and cherish. And so we're doing it again.
Yes.
I know. So excited. And I'm sorry, and I love the whole production, and it takes a year to plan. and
Mhm.
and, my husband's a production manager, so it gives us an opportunity for us to work together, which is
Mhm.
we've been together for 22 years,
You're like,
maybe
what is that?
together a long time. And his passion is doing, the production of events and concerts and you name it in
Mm.
San Francisco. He's been doing it
Yeah.
for so long. And I, love, putting on a hair show and this type of event. So for us as a married couple, it's actually this very cool opportunity at this stage in our relationship, in our
Mm.
marriage, to actually do things that we both are so extremely passionate about and actually do it together
Bring
and
it
support each
together.
other. It's kind of wild. It's kind
Yeah.
of wild.
I can imagine
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, like what comes to my like mind intuitively is like this power couple. Like it's like the power duo, like where like you're powerful on your own, but coming together, it's like dynamite. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Well,
yeah.
it is. I mean, he's great at what he does, and he's fantastic, and I love what I do. And I just think it's just a cool thing, and for us to be able to do the together what we both truly are meant to do. Like I'm
Mhm.
truly meant to do what I do for the hair show and for Beyond the Ponytail and BTP Bridal and the society and the community of hairstylists. This is truly what I'm meant to do to support this community. He is truly meant to do what he's supposed to do. And for us to come together and work tirelessly hours and hours and love every second of the chaos
Yeah.
is is really, really fun. And so that makes us we have this newfound passion of
Mm.
of our work and working together. And it's really it's kind of a cool thing.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
And you
incredible.
met him,
Yeah, I know.
right?
I was, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And
You
your
met my
gorgeous
whole
kitties.
family.
I know.
I know.
Honestly, that melted my heart because from a personal aspect, it was, oh, I'm gonna cry.
Oh my God.
But seeing Renee, like obviously Renee is one of my like closest friends, and seeing
Yes.
yourself on stage and seeing behind the scenes, what I was seeing was you on stage, Renee on stage, doing what you're here to do, what's lighting you up, your passion, and then witnessing your family. Oh, I am crying. Like your family there watching you in that moment of seeing what's possible. And I know that like I know my purpose is breaking through the norm and showing people what's possible so then they can move into their like passion and like what lights them up, and then that ripples out to their kids. And I'm like, yes, I
Oh,
want to help women grow their businesses, and yes, I want to help them to like unlock what lights them up, but what I want more is their kids to witness them in that moment,
oh,
and then it like ripple out to them. So like
oh my
every
God.
time when I was sitting there and witnessing that, I was like, oh, I can see the ripples. I'm seeing it go beyond, like with your daughter, with like Renee's daughter. Her daughter was there crying, and I was crying watching her crying. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is just this is an example of what I was sharing, where it's like the heart in the community. It's not about money, it's not about fame, it's not about recognition, it's about the experience of the emotion and the relationship, which is what I love most. But
I love it. I love
it's,
it. My daughter was 7 when I started Beyond the Ponytail, and it really changed my life. I had a new direction, which
mm,
really took me, I was still working in the salon, and it took me on my phone a lot. And
mhm.
so don't think that doing this does not start, it's not all peaches and cream. You know, there's, there's arguments of you're on your phone too much
Mm,
and this and that. You know what I mean? So
that is
my
hard.
daughter seen me repost, build from the time she was
Yeah.
7, and now well, I guess she was 7, 8, 9, 8. She's now 17. She just turned 17.
Yeah.
And so she is a part of our production team because that's what she does. She works for the theater as stage
Oh,
crew. So it's kind of cool that we're
that.
bringing her that way. But my son, who's only 11, he was just a baby
Mm,
when I started it. And so this is kind of all he's known. And
mm,
so they always say, Mom, 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 you're always on your phone. You're always working. You're always working. And I say, yes, 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 you were right. And so now I've tried to establish boundaries
mm,
where
mhm.
I work until 5 or 6. And then
Yeah.
I say, you know what? I did the best I could today. I
Yes.
accomplished this. I am proud of myself. I am now going to turn off my work, and now I'm going to step into my other role
Yeah.
that is equally as important because
Mhm.
time goes by very quickly and your kids grow up.
Mhm.
My daughter's 17. I started this when she was a little girl braiding on her hair. And my son is now going to be 12, and he was a baby when I was just in the beginning of this, like baby born, newborn. And so here's the beauty of the whole thing, that this is why it's important that I brought them to the show. A, they wanted to come to the show, but B, they were able to now
See.
understand
Yeah.
mommy's drive, her focus,
Yeah.
her ability to follow her passion and her dream, but also be a mommy to me,
Mm.
that whole thing, because it's a lot.
It's
Um,
yeah.
it's a lot. And so mommy's ability, like now they get it. And now they love, they love
Mhm.
Beyond the Ponytail before, but again,
But it's
meeting
like
people in
it's
person
the
is a
experience.
different level.
Yeah.
And so when
Mm.
I got on stage for the first day and I did the show, um, afterwards, yes, my husband finally gets it, but he
You're
sees
like,
it.
you got there.
I
You
mean,
got there.
trust me. No, it's not, oh, there's my daughter right there. It's not easy when
Mhm.
you know what I mean, when you're doing
Mhm.
this. Um, there are arguments and there's fights and there's
Yeah,
all this kind of stuff.
absolutely.
He was like, I am so incredibly proud of you. Now I get it. Like now I get to meet this community and it's so beautiful. And then my daughter and my kids would be like, oh my gosh, Mom, you were so amazing on stage. I am so proud of you, Mom. I mean, they were so proud. And so for me, it was that moment of, they now see like hard work, dedication, focus, trying to do, everything that
Mhm.
is challenging. They almost like became a part of the community because they met so many wonderful people
Mhm.
that now they love the community, and that's their community now because that's their
Mhm.
mom's community.
Yeah.
And so I brought them into my vision, and I brought them into my goals and into my purpose. And that was a really important thing to know, that when you have a dream and you become unstoppable and you believe and you work through challenges and hardships and you never ever give up, you can accomplish really great things.
And
And that's something that's powerful for young children to see.
yeah.
But it's not easy, and it's not
Mhm.
always easy, and it's not always pretty.
No.
um and so
Oof.
um yeah,
This is what I
so
was talking about. Like,
yeah.
this is that ripple out where it's like they would have witnessed, what you went through and I know from our call, like even just last week when you were sharing like what you had to go through leading up
Oh,
to preparing,
that was
and
hard.
and planning, but your kiddies would have like witnessed all of that and then they would have witnessed the end result. So,
Oh, yes.
I always like as a
Yes.
mum. I lead my children by example instead of telling them, because I look at them and I'm like, you're a reflection of me. And if somebody tells me something, I'm not interested. But if I witness you doing it, then I'm like, oh, it's like it lands differently. So
Yeah.
them witnessing you leading yourself
Yeah.
through all of those challenges, hurdles,
Yeah.
and there would have been moments where you were like, it's easier to cancel, or it's easier just to give up. But instead, you continued going, and like created the most incredible experience. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm actually going to cut this episode here, right here, because everything that Angela has shared in this episode has been incredibly powerful. And she continues to lead on to talk more about how she ignited her growth mindset and what she really does behind the scenes to truly embody her staying power when she meets her new edges. She shares in the next episode, part 2, that is going to be coming to you very soon, the second half of this experience. She shares that it would have been easier to cancel, and she shares how she continues to show up for her vision. I'm so excited. You're going to love part 2 because I know that you would have loved part 1 as much as I did. If you are obsessed with this episode and you have been casually binging the entire podcast, please subscribe, comment, and leave a review. It means the absolute world to me to see your reviews because I love seeing the impact that this poddy has through the conversations, the episodes that continue to ripple out beyond. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode.